Hey guys, it's Theo. We're going to do a little battle report for you here. Just 1,000 points of Ogor Mawtribes versus the new Seraphon. We'll just start introducing the armies. We'll start with the Ogres. Our Warlord is going to be our Slaughtermaster here, and we're going to be the Blood Gullet Mawtribe, which means everybody gets an extra spell. He's going to have our Warlord trait, the nice drop of the red stuff. It lets Gluttons pile in 6 inches instead of 3 when they're within range. He's also going to have our Splatter Cleaver. Whenever he does damage with these hand blades he's going to heal everyone within range for D3 wounds. He's followed up by a Butcher here with a Tenderizer, a group of 4 Iron Guts, and 2 groups of 6 Gluttons. And our spells are going to be Rib Cracker and Blood Feast on the Butcher. Rib Cracker decreases the enemy's save. Blood Feast gives a target unit +1 to all of their attacks. Slaughtermaster is also going to have Blood Feast just in case somebody dies. And he's also going to have Greasy Deluge, which is a -1 to hit on a target unit. So that's the Ogres, and we'll go on over to the Seraphon. Alright guys, and these are your Seraphons. So they're going to be the Kotal's Claw. I'm playing that because that's what everybody's playing right now, and that's what I know the best. They seem to be a lot of damage, and I think that being coalesced and having the damage reduction is going to help a lot against the Ogres. So they're going to have the command ability on their Warlord here, which is the Old Blood on Carnosaur, and he's going to have the Dominant Predator. So every time he uses a command ability on one of the Saurus units, he's going to roll a dice, and on a 4-up, he gets that command point back. The artifact that we have to take with Kotal's Claw is the Eviscerating Blade. So on 6s, it's going to be 2 mortal wounds in addition to regular damage. We're going to put that on our Saurus Sunblood here. We've also got a Scarvet in the back on his Cold One and a Skink Star Priest. We've got a group of 5 Knights and a group of 30 Warriors. And I apologize for these Knights not being painted. We're working on it. I never used them before, but now Saurus are good, so we're using them. So anyways, we'll get on to deployment and the battle plan, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, so here's the table we're going to be playing on today. We got some terrain we've rolled rules for. We got number 5 here. That's going to be Mystic, so it's going to give a 6-up shrug to units within 1 inch. We got Arcane here. This whole little circle of bushes is going to be an Arcane piece. That'll be 1 to casting, dispelling. And we've got a damned little shrine over here, a little bug-infested shrine. You're going to be able to sacrifice take some mortal wounds to reroll 1s to hit. Then we've got a sinister bridge over here that'll be reducing 1 from the bravery, and we've got an inspiring little set. This whole set of ruins is going to be inspiring here. I'm just going to add 1 to the bravery. And today we're going to be playing Places of Arcane Power. That's where you have 3 objectives, 1, 2, 3, and you can only capture these objectives with your hero. The hero has to stay within 3 inches of the objective, and you can capture that objective by killing a hero with your hero. And scoring, you score a point at the end of your turn for each consecutive turn you have held each objective. So if you've held it for 1, you get 1 point. If you've held it for 2, you get 2 points, so on and so forth. We've gone ahead and rolled Seraphon 1 to pick their side, so they picked this side, and they're going to start deploying first, and the Ogres are going to be over there. So we'll start with deployment, and then I'll show you guys the table when we're done. Alright guys, so here we are after deployment. Seraphon dropped first, and Ogres finished dropping first. But let's just go through our units here. We've got our Scar Veteran, followed by his Knights. Big old group of 30 Saurus Warriors, led by their Sunblood here in the middle. Oops, if I can get him. And then we've got the Carnosaur way over here on his side. He was the first drop, and Ogres responded to that by abandoning that side. I guess my idea was that since the hero has to hold that objective, they're okay with just leaving that one for the Carnosaur, since they've only got 2 heroes anyways, and invalidating that much of the army, I guess, is worthwhile. So the Ogres, we've got 6 Gluttons here, and our Slaughtermaster ready to run up here to the center objective. 4 Iron Guts, and 6 more Gluttons, and our Butcher with Tenderizer over here, ready to try and snatch this green Place of Arcane Power. And so the way this worked out is ogres are going to choose who goes first. And the way the deployment is, they're exactly 12 inches away from the objectives. Ogres can move 8 when they're hungry, so they can get within 4 of the objective, not quite there. So they're going to let the Seraphon go first. So let the Seraphon get closer, and maybe they can make a good charge in there and steal some objectives away. So without further ado, we'll go on to Seraphon turn 1. So we'll go on to Seraphon Hero Phase, turn 1. I forgot to mention, Skink Star Priest is going to have the spell Fiery Convocation. If he gets it off, he'll pick a unit with an 18, and at the end of every phase until his next hero phase, on a 4-up, that unit will take D3 mortal wounds. So that'll be nice to see if we can get that off. But first, we're going to see if we can roll to get his extra command point on a 5-up at the beginning of the phase. He does not. And then he'll just go ahead and cast Mystic Shield on all these warriors in the front here. Let's see if he can do that. And he gets it with a 6. Let's see if anyone is in range to dispel. And the Slaughtermaster right here was just at 31 inches, just out of range to try and dispel. So we're going to go ahead and start the movement phase, and it's going to be a lot of running because Mr. Carnosaur over here wants to capture our blue place of arcane power. We're going to see if we can get a good run roll here to see if the Sunblood can try and capture that red place of arcane power, and then of course our knights are going to come around here and have a very small chance at trying to get this green place of arcane power away from the ogres. So let's just go ahead and make some run rolls. We'll start with the Carnosaur here. He's going to run a good 1. Very nice. Then we're going to run these, you know what, we're actually going to spend a command point on that to give that to turn that into a 6 for his run. And then on a 4-up, because of his command trait, he's going to get that command point back. He does not, but he's going to grab that objective, so that's worth it. I say so, at least. And then we'll see if these Saurus can run. They're going to run 4, so they're going to go a total of 9, and the Sunblood, is going to move 8, so he's not going to get there. But he'll be close enough. Let's run our knights. That's going to be cocked. Oh, no, that's a 5. Alright, it's going to be a good roll for them, and their Scar Veteran. Ooh, with a 6. Alright, so I'll get those moved, and then we'll come back and show you how it looks at the end of the movement phase. So here we are after the movement phase, guys. As you can see, everything ran up. We were able to secure 2 of the objectives. The one in the middle, Mr. Sunblood, was not quite quick enough. But there will be no shooting and no charging as nothing is in range, and due to a oversight in measuring, nobody is wholly within range to use any command abilities or anything like that either. So we're going to go ahead and move on to Ogres turn 1, and Seraphon are going to get 2 points. Alright guys, so it's on to hero phase for the Ogres turn 1. To start off, our Slaughtermaster is going to reach into his pot and see what he can pull out. With a 2, he's going to get some Troggoth Guts. Heal D3 wounds allocated to this model. In addition, heal 1 wound to everybody within 12. And that's not going to affect anybody because nobody's hurt yet. So then we'll go on to casting some spells. We'll start off over here with the Butcher. He is going to eye down this group of Saurus Knights that's rolling up on him, and he's going to cast Rib Cracker. And he pulls that off with a 12. Wow, perfect. That's going to reduce their save by 1, so they're going to be back up to their good old 5-up save like they're used to. Then the Butcher is going to turn his eye over here to the Scar Veteran and cast the Voracious Maw. And that goes off on a 7 as well. And he does not get it with a 4, which is a shame. But that's alright. We'll go on to the Slaughtermaster here. He is going to cast Blood Feast. And that goes off with an 8. And he's going to put that on the Iron Guts over here. And I'll double check the range on that in a second to make sure that's okay. Then he is going to cast his Greasy Deluge on the Saurus Warriors, the Big Crow Saurus Warriors. And that goes off with an 8. And since our Skink Star Priest moved up, he's going to actually try and dispel that. He needs to beat an 8. And he gets a 6. He does not. So that goes off. The Saurus Warriors are going to be -1 to hit. The Iron Guts here are not going to be anything because I'm pretty sure he failed that spell. And then these guys are going to be -1 to their save. So oh no, I did pass that spell. I'm going to double check the range on it. That's what it is. So I'll be right back. And the Iron Guts were wholly within 18 of the Slaughtermaster, so the spell is going to work. And we'll move on to the Ogre movement phase. And the Ogres are all hungry, so they're going to be moving fast. So here we are at the end of the movement. The Ogres have all moved their 8 inches up, and they're in some pretty good spots to make some decent charges. We have about a 5-inch charge over here, some 5-inch charges, and an 8 or 9-inch charge on these guys. They've moved up, and Mr. Carnosaur over here is looking a little bit worried and thinking maybe he needs to abandon his post, because that will be worth 2 points next turn, but he might need to help keep the Ogres from getting some points, because this doesn't look too pleasant over here. But anyways, we'll go on to the charge phase past the shooting, because the Ogres don't have any shooting, and we'll make some rolls. So here we are with the Ogres charging. We did some pre-measuring here, and we've got a 4-inch charge to Scar Veteran. That's going to be an 11. That's very nice for the impact hits, so we'll keep track of that here, so we can roll those impact hits after we do all our charges. And then we came up with a 4-inch charge here for the Gluttons, and we got it with a 6. We'll keep track of that as well. And moving on to our Iron Guts. Now the Iron Guts are going to need a 5 to get over here to the Knights, and then they're going to need a 9 if they want to come help out with the Warriors. So let's see what they can pull up. It's an 8, almost, not quite. So we'll keep track of that. And we got the Slaughtermaster and the Gluttons left. Roll some blue dice for these ones. Slaughtermaster with a 5 is not going to make it. And these Gluttons, an 8 is not going to make it. So looks like the Warriors have scared those Ogres quite well, and they're not going to make the charge. So we'll do some moving models over here and come back to you after we're done. Alright, so let's roll up some impact hits for these Ogres. We've got 11 here for the Butcher. He's going to select the Scar Veteran. We're looking for 6s, and each 6 is a mortal wound. And that's going to be none for the Butcher. How about that? And then we'll move over here to the Gluttons. They've got 6. They rolled a 6 on the dice, so 6 impact hits. Looking for 6s, and no 6s once again. Okay. Sorry about that. I just realized I forgot to move up the Iron Guts for their charge, but they rolled an 8, so they're going to have 8 impact hits. Looking for 6s. And we've got 2 here. Alright, so it's going to be 2 mortal wounds against the Knights, and I believe that's going to be 1 dead Knight. So we'll pull this one. And then we'll go back onto the combat phase. Alright, so here we are into the combat phase. The Butcher is confident that he's going to survive this combat. So he's going to go ahead and let the Iron Guts go, or the Gluttons. So he's going to let the Gluttons go first. So we'll add up their attacks here and roll some dice. Alright, so the Gluttons have piled in. They've got 3 attacks each, plus an extra one for the Crusher. See if I can get all these dice in my hand. Alright, and these guys are looking for 3s. Oof. 1s and 2s are coming out. Looks like that's a lot of hits. They're also going to be wounding on 3s. Oof, those don't count. A lot more fails than that one. It's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 successful hits, and these guys have Rib Cracker on them, so they're going to have -1 to their save, so they're looking for 5 ups. Usually Gluttons don't have Rend, but that Rib Cracker spell comes in handy. So we've succeeded on 2, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3 dead Knights, and 1 is left on 1 wound. Then I'll go ahead and just do these bites, see if we can take off 1 more wound. It's going to be 6 bites. He's going to be looking for 3s and 3s as well. 3s to hit. That's cocked dice. They all hit. And looks like 1, 2, 3 wound. So I'm looking for 3 5s. And the knights are wiped. Shame on them. So we'll go ahead and come back, and the Scar Veteran will activate against the Butcher. He's got his 3 Celestite War Pick attacks, and 6s on these are going to be 2 hits instead of 1. No 6s and no hits. How about that? But he's got 2 sets of Jaws on him, an extra attack for each of them because he's coalesced. So first is his own Jaws. These are going to be hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s. Both hit. Both wound. So it's going to be 2 saves. They're both no rend, so we'll do them together. Then the Mount's Jaws are going to be hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s. No hits. How about that? Okay. So we'll go ahead and do the 2 saves for the Butcher. 2 5-ups. He saves 1, takes 1. So he's going to be down to 6. And then the Butcher's going to swing back at him. He's got the Tenderizer, so he's going to have 3 attacks. 3s to hit, 3s to wound. Oof. It's going to be 2 hits. It's going to be 2 wounds. These are -1 rend, so the Scar Veteran is going to be taking 5-up saves. Yep, fails them both. And those are damage 3 each, going down to damage 2 each because of he is coalesced. So it's going to be 4 damage, and then the 1 gulping bite. There's a 3 that hits. A 2 does not wound. It's going to be 4 damage, so the knight is going to be down to 3, I believe. I'll double check, and we'll come back. Alright guys, so our Scar Veteran suffered 4 wounds, but I forgot that he is in range of this mystical terrain, so he's going to get 4 shrugs for being within an inch. So on every 6, he's going to get a wound back. Alright, he saved 1 of them, so he's going to be up to 4 wounds. And that is going to be all for the combat phase. So that'll bring us to the end of Ogre's turn 1, and we'll roll off to see who's got turn 2. Alright, our blue dice is going to be our Seraphon, and they're going to get a +1 to this because it was just the Ogre's turn. And they tied, so the Seraphon are going to go next because they break ties. So we'll move on to Seraphon turn 2. So here we are on to Seraphon Hero Phase turn 2. So we'll start off and see if we get our extra command point for our Skink Star Priest. We, again, don't, but we do get 1 for the start of the turn, which will bring us back up to 1. So we'll cast a spell. We'll go with Fiery Convocation on these gluttons over here. See if it goes off. And I don't think it goes off with a 6. It's not going to be quite good enough. So then we'll just move on to our Sunblood is going to spend our last command point to put Scent of Weakness on our Ogre Gluttons over here. That's going to give our Saurus Warriors +1 to their wound rolls against it. And so we'll move on to the movement phase. So here we are at the end of Seraphon movement phase, turn 2. And man, those ogres needed that double turn because we've got the Carnosaur is going to get 2 points at the end of this turn. Old Blood's going to get 1 for securing this one and holding it for 1 turn. And our Scar Vet is going to get 2 because if he survives, because he's going to keep control of this green place of arcane power. So that'll be netting 2, 3, 4, 5 victory points, bringing them to a total of 7. And the ogres are at a sad 0. So we'll see what happens after the shooting phase. Now our Skink Star Priest over here did some running, so he's not going to fire his staff, but our Warlord's going to fire his Sunbolt Gauntlet. He's going to be getting D6 shots on that for 4 shots, not bad. And those are going to be hitting on 3s and wounding on 4s. It's going to be 2 hits. And 1 wound. That's going to be a -1 rend if I'm not mistaken, so the ogres will be getting a 5-up save again, or 6-up save, sorry. And they fail. So it'll be just 1 wound. Alright guys, this brings us to Seraphon charge phase, turn 2. And we only got 1 charge. It's going to be the big old group of Saurus Warriors coming this way into this crowd of ogres. Let's see what they can roll. They've got an 8. That's going to get them there. So I'll move some models and we'll show you where they land. So here we are after the Saurus Warriors make their charge move and piled in. They are going to activate first. They're going to be getting +1 to their hit because they charged, or -1 to their hit because they still have Greasy Deluge from the Slaughtermaster. They're also getting +1 to wound against the gluttons because of scent of weakness from our old blood. So it's going to be a lot of attacks I'm going to have to add up here, and I'll pick up some dice and we'll come right back. Okay, so we have 13 warriors in on the gluttons and 4 on the slaughtermaster. So here I have 13 dice plus 1 for the alpha, and these are going to be their spears. They're hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s because of the +1 to wound. Usually they're hitting on 4s, -1 +1, so that we're going to be hitting on 4s. Not a bad roll. Okay, and these are going to be wounding on 2s because they usually wound on 3s, but they're +1 to wound for scent of weakness. And that's going to be 6 wounds. The gluttons are going to save these on 5s. And they save 2, take 4. So that's going to be a dead glutton. And we'll move that damage counter over to this one. Okay, I have 26 dice here in my hand for their powerful jaws against the gluttons. These are going to be hitting on 5s, wounding on 3s because of scent of weakness. So let's probably just take out the good ones. It's actually not bad of a roll. And he's going to be wounding on 3s. It's going to be 6 wounds, and these are going to be also saving on 5 ups for these gluttons. Saved 3, took 3, so they took out that other glutton, cutting down on the attacks. That's not bad. Alright, now I have the 4 Saurus spear attacks into the Slaughtermaster. These are going to be hitting on 4s and wounding on 3s. The scent of weakness does not apply to the Slaughtermaster. It's only 1 hit. It's going to wound on the 3. It does not wound. And then I've got 8 bites for these mean Saurus. They're going to be hitting on 5s. Again, not very bad. These will be wounding on 4s. And no wounds. Okay, so then we'll move on to the gluttons, who will pile in and attack back on these Saurus warriors. So the gluttons will have 12 attacks, plus the 1 for the crusher. That's going to be 13. 6s for these are going to count as 2 hits because they're paired weapons. Otherwise, they're looking for 3s. These 2s and 1s are not going to count. But wow, that's 4 6s. That's 4 additional hits. More hits than attacks. So these are going to be wounding on 3s. I think one of those was a fail. So that'll bring us to 7. And 7 4-up saves for the warriors. 5 saved, 2 failed. These are usually 2 damage, but because they're scaly skin, it's only be 1 damage. So 2 warriors are going to die. And then we'll go on to the gluttons gulping bites. 3s and 3s. 2 hits. 1 bite. Another 4-up save. And it's a failed, so 1 more Saurus goes down. Then we'll activate the Slaughtermaster. So our Slaughtermaster here will have 2d6 hits with his stump blades. 2d6 attacks, I'm sorry, they're not auto hits. 4, 5, 6, 7. These are going to be hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. All but 1. Wounding on 3s. 3 wounds. And these are going to be the 4-up saves for Saurus warriors. Saved 1, failed 2, so that'll be 2 dead warriors. And then we'll go to the gulping bite. 3s and 3s. It hits. It wounds. See if the Saurus can save for a 4-up. They cannot. 1 more dead Saurus. And that brings us last but not least, the Noblar crew with their motley assortment of weapons. These little goblin fellows in the back. They're going to make 3 attacks for 5s and 5s. They get the big dice. And they don't hit. So that'll bring us back over here to this small fight. And the Scarvet will attack at the Ogre Butcher. Alright, so now we're going to have the Scar Veteran swing in. Once again with the Celestite pick, he's got 3 attacks. 6s are going to be 2 hits instead of 1. No 6s, but he's got 2 hits. See if they wound. They're going to be wounding on 3s. 1 wound. And we'll see if the Glutton can make his 5-up save. Sorry, the Butcher. He does not, so he'll take 1 wound. He'll be down to 5. And then we'll have the bites from the mount. These are going to be 3s and 4s. Wow, 2 1s. And then these are the bites from the Scar Veteran. They're going to be 4s and 3s. Both hit, and they'll be wounding on 3s. 1 wound, and that's going to be a 5-up save for the Butcher. He does not save, so it's going to be down to 4. And then the Butcher will swing back. Alright, so the Butcher's going to swing. He's going to try and take the objective from the Scar Veteran and see if he can take him out. He's got 3 attacks. Hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s. 2 hits. Be wounding on 3s. 2 wounds. And these are -1, so Scar Veteran's going to be taking 5-up saves. Ooh, he makes them both with a 6 and a 5. Scar Veteran holding out. Let's see if he can hold out for the Gulping Bite. It hits. It wounds. And then Scar Veteran's going to 4-up save. He does not save, so he's going to be down to 3. This fight's going on a lot longer than I expected. This is good. Alright guys, before we move on to Glutton's turn 2, I did forget a couple things. The Scar Veteran is going to try and do his Mystic save on that bite and see if he can ignore. He does not. And then I forgot that these Saurus warriors have an extra attack with all their Celestite spears because they're in a group that's larger than 15. So this might have affected, if we kill another Glutton, that might have affected how many attacks targeted them, but we're not going to worry about that. I'm just going to throw in their attacks here and see if it makes any dead Gluttons. We'll see. So these are going to be hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s. These will be wounding on 2s. That's 4, and the Gluttons will get their 5-up save. That's 3 more wounds. So I'll bring one of these Gluttons down to 1. And then, so it doesn't affect the amount of attacks that they suffered, so we didn't mess anything up. Then we'll do these 4 attacks, extra attacks in the Slaughtermaster. These are wounding on 3s now, but hitting on 4 still. Yeah, no wounds. So we're going to do the morale phase for the Seraphon turn 2 here. These warriors lost 6. And they ignore positive and negative modifiers. So they're both ignoring the Billower from the Gluttons and this Inspiring Terrain. So we're just going to see how many flee. Not bad. 6, 7, 8. Their bravery is 8, so they will all stay. And the Gluttons can't fail, so we don't have to worry about them. So that will be the end of Seraphon turn 2. They're going to go up to 7 victory points. The Ogres were not able to pull the objectives away. The Ogres are at 0, but let's see if they can turn it around with Ogre turn 2 coming up next. Alright, here we are with Ogre's turn 2. We're going to start in the hero phase, and the Slaughtermaster's going to pull something out of his pot. Let's see what he gets. Ooh, a 6. What is that? Bone Crusher for roll a dice for each enemy unit within 6 and on a 4-up D3 mortal wounds. So it's going to be just the warriors. I don't think that the Sunblood is within range. And it's a 3, so no mortal wounds. And then we'll go ahead and cast a spell. He's going to cast his special spell, Rock Chomper, on these Gluttons. So you select a group of Gluttons, and every 6 for their bite is a mortal wound, and they heal 1 wound also. So let's see what we get. And that goes off on a 10. The Star Priest is in range, but he's probably going to wait to see what else is casted before he dispels, because the Slaughtermaster is going to cast Blood Feast next. With a 4, that does not go off. Well, then we'll move over here to the Butcher. He is going to cast his special spell, Ferocious Maw. It's going to be casted on a 7. And with a 6, he does not get it. So after that, he'll just go ahead and cast Ribcracker again, but he'll target the Scar Veteran this time With a 10, he gets it off. So that Scar Veteran is going to be -1 to saves. So we'll come back with the movement phase. Here we are at the end of the Ogre movement phase. So we rolled a 5 over here to run these Iron Guts all the way around. So looks like these Saurus warriors are starting to get a little bit surrounded because the Gluttons moved over there 8 inches over here to get a 5-inch charge. And that's all that moved. We'll go on to the charge phase. So the Ogres have decided the only charge is going to be the Gluttons into the Warriors. We're not going to charge the Iron Guts because we're going to expect that the Carnosaur is going to make his way over here eventually, and we're going to try and save those for him. So we'll just go ahead and make a charge roll for the Gluttons. With an 8, that's going to make it there, and we'll go ahead and do their impact hits now. And these are looking for 6s. Not a single 6. Alright, so we'll move some models and come back for the combat phase. So we've been forgetting to do these blood gruel rules. Every time these butchers cast a spell, you roll a dice. On a 2-up, they heal a wound, but there's a chance they could have taken mortal wounds on 1s. So they've each successfully casted 2 spells. I'll just go ahead and roll and see if we get any 1s. No 1s here. And then for the butcher. Oh, we got a mortal wound here, so let's do that. So here we are in Ogre combat phase. The Ogres are going to activate these 4 Gluttons with Rock Chomper first, because there's more attacks that can go into them, and they're probably going to lose a few. But this full group of 6 did come within 3 of the Sunblood, so if the room gets made, the Sunblood can come in and fight. So I'm going to add up some attacks for these 4 Gluttons, and then we'll come right back. Alright, here we are with the Ogres' twin weapon attacks. It's 3 for each and 1 extra for the Crusher. He's going to be hitting on 3s and wounding on 3s. Take out the 2s. And he's going to be wounding on 3s. Right, and these are no Ren, so 4 up saves for the Saurus. That's 3 fails. Now, usually these are 2 damage. We haven't been mentioning this, but because of Scaly Skin, they're reduced to only 1 damage. So, 3 warriors are down. And then we've got the 4 bites. Now, 6s for these are going to be mortal wounds, and they'll heal a wound to hit. Alright, so 1 6 and 1 hit. Now, these will be 3s to wound. It's going to be 2 wounds, so 1 mortal wound, and they heal a wound, back up to 2. And then 3 wounds total, so 3 more Saurus warriors will go down. Okay. And then I think the Saurus warriors will fight back, so we'll add up some attacks, and I'll be right back. So now the Saurus warriors have piled in, are going to fight back. We've got 9 of them going to the Gluttons, 6 going into the Slaughtermaster, and 2 over here coming into this big group of 6 Gluttons. So I'm going to add up some dice and we'll be right back. Alright everyone, so with the 9 warriors and with one of them being the alpha, it's going to be 18 plus 1, 19 attacks. And they're going to be hitting on 4s, wounding on 3s. Alright, so that's going to be 5, 10, 13 hits. Going to be wounding on 3s. Not bad at all. And these are going to, it's 10 saves out of 5 up. They've only saved 2, wow. So that's 2 dead ogres, and 1 is down to 2. So we'll go ahead and take this one, and we'll actually take this one and put that one down to 2. And then we'll come back with their bites, but only the first row of these is going to be able to bite. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them were able to bite. Alright, so with the 7 in range for their bites and the extra attack for being coalesced with their bites, it's going to be 14. These are hitting on 5s, wounding on 4s. Wounding on 4s. It's going to be 4 wounds, 4 more 5-up saves from the gluttons. Saved 2, failed 2. They're down to 1. Oof. Better showing than I expected from the warriors. So we'll move on to the 6 versus the Slaughtermaster. Alright, so 6 warriors going into the Slaughtermaster with 2 attacks each. It's going to be 12s. These are hitting on 4s and wounding on 3s. Maybe 6 hits, wounding on 3s. Ooh, they all wound. Okay, and that's going to be 5-up saves from the Slaughtermaster. Wow, good save. Saved 4, only took 2 damage. So he's going to be down to 5. And then we've got the 2 warriors going into the gluttons over here. So that's just going to be 4 attacks with the spears. 4s and 3s, 1 hit, and no wound. And then we'll do the jaws. The front 3 of that group of 6 is going to target the Slaughtermaster. There'll be 6 attacks, 5s and 4s. Just 1 and a 4. Nope. And then the 2 over here will be 4. 5s and 4s. 2. And 1. It'll be a 5-up save for the gluttons. And they fail, so one of them's going to take 1 wound. We'll see. This one will be down to 3 over here. Alright, and then we'll activate the second group of gluttons. Now, this group of gluttons was able to pile in 6 inches because they are wholly within 12 of our Slaughtermaster, who has a nice drop of the red stuff as a command trait. So they were able to come over and get 2 of them in range to, or 1 of them in range to fight the Old Blood, but they had to get closer to the closest model still, so they had to stick to the Saurus warriors. So we're going to have 5 of them attack into the warriors, and 1 of them attack into the Sunblood over here. So we'll start with the Sunblood. It'll be 3 attacks, 3s and 3s. 2 hits, and 2 wounds. Sunblood will try and save. And he saves 1, fails 1. I'll check his wounds and we'll be right back. So the Sunblood is down to 6, and we'll go ahead and do the Gulping Bite for that last glutton. He hits with a 4 and he wounds on a 3. He wounds, that's going to be a 3-up save for the Sunblood. Oh, he takes another wound. He's down to 5. And then we've got the 5 gluttons attacking into the warriors, and one of them is the Crusher, so it's going to be 16 attacks. And 5, 10, 15, 16. All right. Threes and 3s. All right, so these are going to wound. On 3s. 3 over here. 8 saves out of 4 up for the Saurus warriors. Oops, that was a success. 4 successes, 4 failures, so 4 Saurus warriors go down. These 3 over here, and 1 in the middle. Okay. And then we got the 5 Gulping Bites. 3s and 3s. 2. Wounding on 3s. And no successes there. So then we'll come back over to our little fight over here with our heroes. Alright, so our Scar Veteran activates next. He's got the 3 attacks for his pick, and his mount jaws usually has 2, so he should have been rolling 3 with the extra for Coalesced, and then just 2 for his regular jaws. So these ones are 3s and 4s, these ones are 4s and 3s. But these are 3s and 3s. And 6s are an extra hit. 1 extra hit and 2 successes. These are wounding on 3s. 3 wounds. And those are going to be 5 up saves for the butcher. Ooh, he fails all of them. That'll be a dead butcher. What a shame. No chance to even use the jaws. So, the Scar Veteran holds that objective. How about that? We'll move on to the Sunblood. He'll activate next. Check his attacks. Alright guys, so here's the Sunblood. He has got 6 attacks. He has the Eviscerating Blade, so every 6 to hit is 2 mortal wounds in addition to regular damage. His usual rule is every 6 to hit counts as 2 hits. Then 6 is to a wound, or a mortal wound in addition to normal damage. So let's just roll and see how this shakes out. Rolling 6 dice. Okay. He's hitting on 3s, so he's got 3 hits, 4 hits. This one counts as 2 mortal wounds. So we'll start a count, 2 mortal wounds. And then we're going to, this also counts as 2 hits. So then we'll roll for wounds. So wounding on 3s, and 6s are a mortal wound. Wow, okay. 2 more mortal wounds. So 4 mortal wounds, and 5 saves from the Gluttons. And the AP on this weapon is... The AP is going to be a -1, so these will be 6 up saves. They save 1 and fail 4. So we'll put some damage on some ogres here. Alright guys, so that was 2 dead ogres, 4 mortal wounds and 4 wounds. So we're down to 4 ogres here. Let's go into the morale. We lost 11 Saurus warriors, so that means 3 plus D6 of them are going to run. So that's going to be 5 Saurus warriors out. And we lost 3 ogres over here, and they're -1 bravery because of these standard bearers here. So they're going to be at 7 bravery. We'll see how this shakes out. So 3 and 3 is 6. They're going to be good because they're at bravery 7. And these guys lost 2, so they can't fail. Now I'll take those models away. Alright guys, we're going to roll off again for turn priority. Once again, the blue is going to be for the Seraphon, and they're going to get a +1 to this. And it's going to be Seraphon turn 3. Alright guys, so Seraphon turn 1, and I'm thinking we're going to call it here because at the end of this turn, we're at least looking at 6 points for the Seraphon, which will bring them up to 13. And the ogres now only have 1 scoring unit. So if they even get a chance at this, they hold it for 3 turns, 1 point, 2 points to 3, then 3 points to 6. They're still only at 6 points. They're not catching up to the Seraphon. This might not have been the best battle plan to play with the armies as they were, but it was more of just a practice thing to see if I can put together a little battle report by myself. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I think if I built these armies again, I would definitely try and maybe get a Slan or something in, because these Seraphon definitely demand command points. And definitely with the Seraphon, you got to focus on keeping everyone together and in range, because they really rely on those buffs. So the ogres were tough, but they didn't have enough scoring units for the game, which is rare for them, because usually they have the special rule where they count as multiple models for scoring objectives and such. But I had fun playing it, and I hope you guys had fun watching. So thanks a lot.